Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are getting my F1 2017 career mode underway here today. And first of all, visiting my agent, Emma Jenkins, to sign the contract for the rest of this first season with Renault Sport. Hopefully, we can stay with this team for quite a while. Of course, the goal for the team is to try and progress to a front runner. That is what the team wants to do in the next couple of seasons. That's what we've got to try and do in this 2017 car. Don't forget to smash a like on this video to get hyped for the start of my F1 2017 career mode. We are going to be doing 3 episodes today, 3 episodes tomorrow, and 3 episodes on Sunday as well, as we head into what is practice for the start of this 2017 season. And we've got a lot to talk about in terms of the practice sessions. A lot of new things in this 2017 game. Of course, getting it underway with a very familiar track acclimatization test, which we absolutely smashed, just getting 1 green, which was really frustrating, because if we got a whole purple there, then that would have been absolutely amazing. And then we got a new one, which is the tyre wear test here, slightly different from the race strategy one that we had in the previous game, and we managed to get the result of the purple with the low tyre wear, which of course means some good resource points for the teams. We are just sort of getting out of the way of Daniel Ricciardo there. And we've got this one as well. This is definitely a new test here on the 2017 game. Saving fuel, which we weren't particularly that good at. I tried to slow down as I came across the line there just before the end of the session. But unfortunately, it was only good enough for good fuel settings. So not too bad at the end of the day. It's green. It does mean that we still get 30 resource points for that test, but not quite, unfortunately, enough for the purple. And that left us down in 18th position in the first practice session, unfortunately over a second behind my teammate. But we weren't really focused on quick lap times. We were only really focused on getting the resource points, doing the test, and trying to get, well, as many resource points as we possibly can, so we could spend them here in the new engineer's office as we meet Chris, our engineer, and then he introduces us to the rest of the team as well. And we just go through the rest of the R&D stuff. And for this car in particular, it's quite slow in a straight line. We know the Renault engine isn't exactly the best, and we want to sort of upgrade the durability of this car because, well, you know, I don't want to run out of engines at the end of the day. I don't want to run out of tyres. I want to try and keep the car as long as possible on the track, and also upgrading the powertrain on this Renault to try and be as quick as we possibly can in a straight line. Then we headed into the second practice session of this brand new season. Just going through the qualifying test really quick here. Getting P7, what they predicted me in the qualifying, which will be absolutely fantastic if I can do that at the end of the day. And then this is a brand new test as well, the race strategy one, which sort of, you know, compares your average tyre wear, your average fuel use, and luckily as well we managed to get the purple score. Absolutely smashing that, and that put us at the end of this practice session in a really good position up in P11, which is absolutely fantastic. Ahead of my teammate on the ultra soft tyres, so hopefully we can stay there in the qualifying session as well. But that was it for practice. No more practice sessions, no more research and development to be gained. So let's head into the qualifying session.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong, and that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
Here we go then, qualifying for the first round of this 2017 season. Going out on the super softs at the start of this session. It is Q1 at the moment, so I thought I'll go out on the super soft tyres, try and set the best possible lap time I can on these, and hope that it gets me into Q2. And then if not, we'll go on to a set of ultra soft tyres right at the end of the session. There's our first lap time. Not really the best. Made a couple of mistakes in that one, but you can see on this second lap time, so much quicker. 9 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths quicker than our previous best lap time. As we come down towards line, it's going to be near enough a second quicker than our previous best lap time on these super soft tyres of 1:25.7. That's good enough for 6th place, just behind my teammate of Nico Hulkenberg. And I thought I was clear. I thought I was clear in this qualifying session on the super soft tyres, and then literally after the clock went down, after it was too late for us to go in the session, everybody set fast lap times, And unfortunately, we're starting off this 2017 season, pretty much what happened in the 2016 seasons, where we're always at the back of qualifying. But we're going to change that this season. We know why we were struggling. We made a mistake. We went out on the super soft tyres, and we didn't go out on a set of ultra soft tyres because we thought we were safe at the end of the day. So unfortunately, we do start today's race way down the field in 16th position. However, that just means we're going to have a bit of fun, try and overtake. Of course, overtaking is a little bit more difficult on this 2017 game, but we're going to see what we can do, have a bit of fun with the rest of the other drivers, and try get back up into around 11th, 12th place, around where my teammate is. If I can beat Nico Hulkenberg, or at least come around one place behind him or something like that, then that will of course be a really good day in the race. But that's everything from the qualifying session. Let's head down to the race for the Australian Grand Prix.
Today's race, of course, not simply the start of a new season, but the start of a new kind of Formula One. Anthony Davidson, great to have you with us once again. This is a big moment for the sport. Big changes to the technical regulations. The potential, perhaps, to give us the biggest shake-up since 2014. Very different cars visually and, fingers crossed, much faster as well.
Good thing then that combined these teams put in just a shade over 13,000 kilometres on the clock during testing. The cornering speed of these new machines is absolutely unbelievable. How many lap records are still held by Michael Schumacher from 2004? Well, on the right day, on the right tyres, we might just be threatening them this year. Wider tyres, wider cars, more downforce. I have to say they look great, and the qualifying spectacle is undebatable. Now the big question remains, can they follow? Can they race? Or have these new rules gone too far?
It's race day here at the Australian Grand Prix, starting in a slightly disappointing P16 at the end of the day. We know why we are way down the field, of course, making that little error, staying out on the super soft tyres and not going onto the ultra softs at the end of the session. But let's have a look at the race strategy for today. So the team want me to start on the soft tyres and go for a set of super soft tyres, go for the one-stop strategy. Of course, with our little test that we did in practice, we can change that a little bit, which gives us a little bit extra tyre life because we are better on our tyres around this circuit. But that's the race strategy for today, starting on the softs, pitting for the super softs, the one-stop strategy, and hopefully that will take us to glory here today. Well, maybe not glory. If we can get some points here today, then that'll be a really decent result. If not, as long as we beat our teammate. Of course, we've always got to compare ourselves against our teammate. But let's get into today's race for the Australian Grand Prix. We're all lined up on the grid. The lights coming on now. We go to 5 red lights. It is lights out, and away we go for the Australian Grand Prix. It's a good start compared to Sergio Perez on the left-hand side. A lot of cars ahead of me going down in towards turn 1. Now, we want to be cautious. We don't want to be too heavy on the brakes. We go up in the middle of there, Nico Hulkenberg and Sergio Perez side by side with my teammate. It's not been a good start there from Nico Hulkenberg, way down in 14th, in 15th now. I'm up into 14th, but side by side with my teammate down in towards turn 3. Can we hold it around the inside? We will, of course, get the inside down in towards turn 4 if we can do. There we go, side by side. A little bit of a wheel bang between the two of us, but luckily no damage to either cars. We scrape along the barriers through turn 5 there, side by side still between myself and my teammate of Nico Hulkenberg round the outside of turn 6. And unfortunately, Nico Hulkenberg gets the job done on us for the time being, but we know we are quite quick in this car, and hopefully we can gain on him as the laps go on. But here we are on lap 2 of this Australian Grand Prix. We've already got a yellow flag up. There's Felipe Massa parked it on the apex of turn 3. Not too sure what has gone on there with Felipe Massa. Hopefully we get a replay of what happened to the Williams driver. But we're at the moment trying to catch up to Nico Hulkenberg. Of course, the two of us are on the same tyre strategy, going for that one stop at the moment. But let's have a look at a replay of what's happened to Felipe Massa. So he goes down in towards turn 3. Now, did he have contact with the driver ahead of him? No. Oh, okay. Bit of a glitch there with the 2017 game. Great way to start live on F1 2017. Not sure what on earth has happened there to Felipe Massa. Just parks it on the apex down in towards turn 3. His car stops dead still, and there's been a stop-go penalty awarded to Marcus Ericsson for overtaking under yellow flags. Let's take a look at this. He's going side by side with his teammate of Pascal Wehrlein. Now, I believe he is slightly in front of Wehrlein. Wehrlein, does he get the job done, or does Marcus Ericsson complete the overtake? Yeah, the yellow flags are out now. I'm not really too sure what Marcus Ericsson can do, but I suppose those two going side by side has really cost Pascal Wehrlein there. He's gone straight into the back of Felipe Massa. So let's have a look at replay, this time on board with Pascal Wehrlein, who's now been put right down to the back of the field in this Australian Grand Prix. So he goes up the inside, trying to hang up the inside of his teammate of Marcus Ericsson. There's Felipe Massa parking on the apex, and there was nothing really that Wehrlein could have done. He was boxed in by both Marcus Ericsson and Fernando Alonso behind him, and unfortunately that is him with a broken front wing and right down at the back of the field. We're cutting ahead now to lap 6 of this Australian Grand Prix. On the back of my teammate now of Nico Hülkenberg, there's a driver who has come into the pits. It's Valtteri Bottas making an early pit stop in this race. We're going down in towards turn 1 and turn 2, trying to put a car as close to the back of my teammate as we possibly can, using the DRS, using the slipstream all the way down to turn 3. We're going to have to go for a dive bomb move if we want to get the job done, which we go for up the inside on Nico Hülkenberg. Squeeze him out on the exit of turn 3 as well. And there we go, job done. Up into P12 for the time being and chasing down the Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz. Now we cut ahead to the end of lap 6, start of lap 7. We've got more drivers coming into the pits at the end of lap 6. They're now moving ourselves up into P9 for this Australian Grand Prix. Also gaining a little bit every single lap on Carlos Sainz. There's more drivers coming into the pits, running a little bit wide there through the final corner. Unfortunately, that costs us the chance to go for the overtake on Carlos Sainz. It looks like a Ferrari or Vettel coming out the pits. They're very close to us. It looks like the Ferraris are very, very quick in this 2017 game. But we've moved up into P7 at the moment. Now trying to hunt down the Toro Rosso still of Carlos Sainz. Moving up a few more positions, up into P6 now. Can we do anything on Carlos Sainz down in towards turn 3? We're going to get the slipstream and, of course, the DRS. Not too sure whether Sainz will get DRS. No, he doesn't. So here we go. This is our chance to try and get the overtake down in towards turn 3. Side by side with Carlos Sainz. Here we go, up the inside, down towards turn 3. And unfortunately, the yellow flags have come out. And I didn't want to risk it. I saw that Marcus Ericsson had got a penalty earlier on in this race. I didn't want to risk it. It's my teammate, Nico Hülkenberg, is out of this Australian Grand Prix. It's a bad start at the moment for the Renault team, and it's all down to me. The pressure is piled onto my shoulders. We have a look at a replay now of what's happened to Nico Hülkenberg. So he's following me at the moment on lap 9 of this Australian Grand Prix, down in towards turn 3, and it looks like just something gives way on his car. There's no smoke coming out the back of the car like we have had in F1 2016. So his engine isn't on fire, but there's definitely a mechanical issue there for Nico Hülkenberg. So we cut ahead now to the end of lap 9, running very deep there into the penultimate corner. Will that give the guy behind us a chance? Was it Sergio Perez a chance around the final corner? No, it doesn't. But Carlos Sainz into the pits, losing the back end massively as well there, as there's a few more drivers into the pits as well. It's going to push us up now into P4 for this Australian Grand Prix. So starting way down the field in P16 and now moving up into 4th place. What a start, what a debut at the moment this has been in the 2017 career mode. Of course, we are running on 95 difficulty, which is the start of Legend, and we're going to be increasing that every single race we do. At the moment, I'm not too sure whether it's too easy. I feel like it's the right difficulties. We've got another driver with a yellow flag. It's Kimi Raikkonen, unfortunately, who is out of this race. But we're going to be increasing the difficulty every single race as this season goes on. Try and get up to Ultimate as soon as we possibly can. Because, of course, you guys want me to be driving against the hardest difficulty. And I want to do that as well. I want to be driving against the hardest difficulty as soon as possible. As we have a look at replay on board with Kimi Raikkonen now. And it looks like he's just pulling over to the right-hand side. And I think, just like Nico Hülkenberg, it's another engine failure in this Australian Grand Prix. Of course, it's the first race of the season. Reliability isn't expected to be the greatest around this circuit, but with only 2 drivers DNFing at the moment, it's not too bad. And Kimi Raikkonen, unfortunately, that is the end of his races. We're now hunting down the Force India and the Toro Rosso of Ocon and Kvyat. It looks like those two are going to go side by side through the fast chicane. That's going to give us a great opportunity to go for the overtake on Danny Kvyat. Can we get the job done on Esteban Ocon as well? I don't think so. That Force India is very quick in a straight line. But unfortunately, yeah, not able to go for the overtake on Esteban Ocon. But we're going to stay behind for the time being, see what we can do on the Force India driver. Hopefully, we can get the overtake very, very soon. But once again, locking up down in towards the penultimate corner. Really struggling with the braking down to that corner. Kvyat gets past, and so does Sebastian Vettel, who we're not going to fight too much as we lose the back end ever so slightly out of that final corner. And Vettel gets the job done on us. Look how beautiful the back of that Ferrari does look in this 2017 game. Looks absolutely stunning to the F1 2017 cars, especially from the rear. Vettel gets past us, and now he's going to go for the overtake on Danny Kvyat. So we're going to see whether we can have a piece of the action as well. Round the outside, down in towards turn 3, but unfortunately, just not late enough on the brakes, not close enough to either Kvyat or Vettel to try and go for the overtake. And for now, we're just going to have to settle for this position as we're having a look at replay on board with Sergio Perez, who just goes into the back of Danny Kvyat there. Of course, when we were trying to get the overtake done, once Kvyat and Ocon went side by side with each other. Then Sergio Perez goes side by side with the Ferrari of Vettel, and just like myself, decides to give that position to the Ferrari driver. Because, of course, Perez, just like myself, is doing the one-stop strategy, and we're not battling with the leaders. It looks like Danny Kvyat now coming into the pits here on lap 4, pitting on those super soft tyres to go onto a set of softs. It looks like Vettel now going side by side with Esteban Ocon down in towards turn 1, and Vettel gets the overtake done on the Force India driver, moving up into second place for the time being. We're up into P4, but we will be coming into the pits within the next 2 laps, and we now have Valtteri Bottas right on my tail. And just like with Sebastian Vettel, not going to fight him at all. He's going to get the inside line. We're going to give him that position, and there you go, Valtteri Bottas. You run off there with P4. We're settled for P5 for the time being. We cut ahead to 1 lap later, and now Esteban Ocon is into the pits, and now we've got a Red Bull driver of Max Verstappen all over my tail as well. He's going to go up the inside, down in towards turn 1, just like with the 2 front runners. We're just going to give him the room, give him the space, and give him that position as well. Because the more that we fight with those drivers, the more time we're going to lose. And of course, with this strategy, we are doing the overcut. We need to be as quick as we possibly can in this race. We've now got Daniel Ricciardo right to my tail, but unfortunately for him, he was not able to make the overtake stick. And now we cut ahead to lap 17 in this Australian Grand Prix, which means it is pit stop time here today. So here we go, coming into pits from P5 for this Australian Grand Prix. A good start to the race, a good first stage, you know, getting into a good position of P5, keeping our nose clean, keeping it clean, and just trying to get on with our own race as we now come into the pit box, hoping for a quick pit stop here from the Renault team. But of course, they're not exactly a Williams, a Red Bull, a Mercedes, or a Ferrari. The pit stops aren't exactly going to be the best. 2.7 at the end of the day. Fairly average pit stop. And whereabouts are we going to come out in the field? It's P13. P13. Oh, no. Look at that. Way behind this whole train of cars that we were battling with before the pit stop phase, of course. We've been overtaken by the Toro Rossos, one Force India, and a couple of Williams as well. But we're not too sure on what strategy some of these guys are doing, as it looks like Lance Stroll is now into the pits. That puts us up into P12 for the Australian Grand Prix, right behind Danny Kvyat now to go down in towards turn 1. Can we get the slipstream on the Toro Rosso driver? Here we go, down in towards turn 3 now. On the back of Danny Kvyat, can we go the inside? Looks like we're going to do it. Danny Kvyat, big lock up there from the Toro Rosso driver, and that gives us the opportunity to go up the inside, down in towards turn 3, and get the job done in towards turn 4 as well. So beautiful overtake there on Danny Kvyat as we now cut ahead to lap 18 in this Australian Grand Prix. On the back, once again, of Esteban Ocon. This battle just looks like it is going to continue in this race, and hopefully we can get the job done. Move up past Esteban Ocon. A few drivers there coming into the pits, and now that puts us up into the point for today's Australian Grand Prix. What a debut we are having here today. Into P9 and hunting down Esteban Ocon, who is currently in P8 for the time being. Down in towards turn 3, unfortunately not able to get the job done just yet on Esteban Ocon, but because he's not got anybody in front of him, we could have a great opportunity as we mess up big time there, down in towards the quick left-right chicane at the Australian Grand Prix, and that unfortunately allows Danny Kvyat back through, just carrying too much speed. I thought maybe it's about time that we can just go flat out, well not flat out, but just lifting off through that corner instead of dabbing on the brakes. Unfortunately, it's not the case, and that has cost us big time the position on Danny Kvyat, and of course losing the back of the Force India drivers as well. We've got to drive it into the pits though, so that's going to gain us another position, put us back into the points, even though we are actually in P10 still at the moment. So we have still got 1 point at the moment in this race, and unfortunately losing the back a little bit of Danny Kvyat at the moment, but we are on quicker tyres. We go through turn 1 and into turn 2, and look how much time we've gained on Danny Kvyat being on the more grippier super soft tyres. We move over to the right hand side, got the inside now of Danny Kvyat down in towards turn 3. It's going to be side by side between myself and Danny Kvyat, throwing my hand up in frustration as there was a little bit of a tyre bang between the two of us drivers. Down in towards turn 5, hugging the inside curb, and there we go, job done on the Toro Rosso driver, moving up into P8, and once again we can start to catch up to Esteban Ocon. Fingers crossed though, this time around we can get the job done, so we now follow behind the Force India driver. Here we go, great exit out of turn 5, down in towards turn 6, having a little look around the outside on Esteban Ocon, but unfortunately not able to make it stick, not managing to hold it around the outside through that corner there, just having to back off for the time being. But we will have the chance to go again as Ocon looks like he's locked up big time, and unfortunately that has cost us a part of our front wing. Disaster in the first race of the 2017 career mode, breaking our front wing. There are only 4 laps left to go in this race. No, more than that, sorry. There's 6 laps left to go in this race. There's no real point in coming into the pits, but we're currently running in P6. Can we hold on to P6 in this race? Unfortunately, losing the back of Esteban Ocon big time, and now coming under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo, who we're not really too fussed at the moment, really, because he is on the ultra soft tyres, and that Red Bull driver and that Red Bull car is so much quicker than our own, even with without the front wing damage. So we can just let him get on and not really focus too much about him. But unfortunately, now under pressure from the Toro Rosso driver of Danny Kvyat as well. He's on slightly worse tyres, on the soft tyres, whereas we're on the super softs. But this front wing damage is really, really affecting us. Just look at that. Look how far wide we are running through turn 4. And we're also running wide through turn 5. And, of course, the left-right chicane. All the high-speed corners. It is just really, really affecting us in this race. And unfortunately as well in the final corner. And that's given Danny Kvyat a great opportunity to go up the inside, down in towards turn 1. He's locked up once again in this race. So Danny Kvyat really struggling with the brakes on his Toro Rosso car. We're right behind the Force India driver. Maybe to have a little look down in towards turn 3, but think better of it. There's no point battling with him. We nearly actually go into the back of Danny Kvyat, who brakes very late into the second phase of the corner. But unfortunately now down in towards P8 and now under attack from the Haas driver of Roman Grosjean, who is in fact on the ultra soft tyres. So it should be a fairly simple move now for Roman Grosjean on the right hand side. And there he goes, putting us down into P9 now. Roman Grosjean up into P8 of this Australian Grand Prix. We've got his teammate Kevin Magnussen all over the back of me as well. As we have a little look maybe to go up the inside of Roman Grosjean under braking. Can we do it? Sticking our nose up the inside, down in towards turn 3. But there's just no chance of that, especially with this front wing damage. Look at that, running wide down in towards turn 4 and just having to give up on that overtake for the time being on Roman Grosjean. Now it's all about defending from Kevin Magnussen. Can we hold on to P9? Can we hold on to the points position in my first race? Here goes Magnussen around the outside, down in towards the left, then the right, giving him the room and lots of room indeed as he's gone very slowly out of the corner. And unfortunately, there's just a slight tap between myself and Kevin Magnussen. Unfortunately, that's broken more of my front wing, which is really, really frustrating. With 1 lap left to go of this Australian Grand Prix, we are on the defense of Felipe Massa now. He is right on my tail in these last couple of laps. Can we do it though? Can we hold on to points in this Australian Grand Prix? Running it very wide though through the final corner, down in towards turn 1. Here goes Felipe Massa, so much quicker with that Mercedes engine in that Williams car. He's going to hold it up the inside, unfortunately locking up with this front wing damage down towards turn 1, sorry. And that is it, unfortunately. Felipe Massa gets the job done, and Lewis Hamilton is the race winner for today's Australian Grand Prix. Great job there from the Mercedes driver to win today's race. We had the Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen being DNF, and I think Valtteri Bottas finished in 3rd here today. So it's a good day for the Mercedes team. That's really going to help them in the Constructors' Championship as we're getting on with our own final lap here. Here goes Sergio Perez around the outside, down in towards this right-hander. Can he make it stick? I don't think he can. We're squeezing him out as much as possible down through that corner. There we go, Sergio Perez just having to back off for the time being. Into the final corner now. Can we hold on to at least P11? We are outside the points, even though P11 means absolutely nothing in today's race. We may as well be a DNF, but here we go, down towards the line. We are going to hold on to P11 in this race. It's a good race, to be fair, 16th to P11, but disappointing not to score a single point here today.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
There we have it then, 11th place for today's Australian Grand Prix. Like I said, a good race, seeing as we started from P16, got a few overtakes, and really had a nice fight with some of the AI drivers. It was just unfortunate to get that front wing damage and work our way back down through the field, dropping and finishing in P11 at the end of the day. We had a really good chance to score some solid points. But looking through the rest of the field, of course, Lewis Hamilton is the race winner here today with Sebastian Vettel in second. It was in fact Max Verstappen who gets a podium as well. Great result there for the Red Bull driver, making that one-stop strategy work to his advantage. Valtteri Bottas finishes in 4th with Daniel Ricciardo 5th. Then it's Esteban Ocon in 6th in the end with Danny Kvyat 7th. Roman Grosjean 8th. Kevin Magnussen 9th. And Felipe Massa gets the final championship point here today. I'm in 11th. Sergio Perez is in 12th. And Lance Stroll is in 13th. And then looking further down the field, we have Carlos Sainz in 14th, Fernando Alonso in 15th, Stoffel Van Dorn 16th, Marcus Ericsson 17th, and Pascal Wehrlein at the back of the runners with Kimi Räikkönen and Nico Hülkenberg being our only DNFs for today's race. Driver standings then after the first round is exactly the same as the race results. Lewis Hamilton leading the way, 7 points clear of Sebastian Vettel at the moment. We're currently in P11, which is pretty decent. It's exactly where the team wants me to be, but I want to score a few points over the course of the season. I definitely think that I've got the chance to do that. It's going to be slightly more difficult at the Bahrain Grand Prix, of course. No, it's China actually next. China is going to be slightly more difficult though still, because we are upping the difficulty to 96. Only by a tad, but I'm not too sure whether it make the difference or not. But looking at the Constructors' Championship, and Renault are currently down in 9th. I'm not really too sure how that works, seeing as we scored an 11th place. So we should at least be in 8th position ahead of the McLaren team. But without any doubt, we will score points this season, especially with myself and Nico Hülkenberg in the team. We are hoping really to be battling around the Toro Rossos, the Haas, the Williams, and the Force India. Just get in within the midfield teams and hopefully score some decent points for today. But that is it for today's race. Let's head back to the paddock area for some exciting news.
Is this the one?
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars, per se, but a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral Gs, you know? The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. And that's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece.
So there we go. Jonathan, who is this sort of, millionaire, has bought a whole load of Formula 1 cars, and he wants us to drive them. Of course, you've got the classic cars in this 2017 game, and this is how they are sort of brought into the F1 2017 career mode. So we're going to choose the overtake challenge because I really do like the look of that 1996 Williams there, and we're going to see what we can do. Basically, it's just an event of trying to get as many overtakes as we possibly can. They've set me a target, and we'll see what we have to do.
Here we are then, the calm before the storm, as we wait for this field of iconic cars to burst into life for the historic invitational event today. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to be here and welcome along to all of you at home as well. So grab a cup of tea and get ready as our competitors make their final preparations.
So here we are jumping into this 1996 Williams at Silverstone Short Circuit, and we've got to try and make 12 overtakes at this British circuit. So here we go, on the back of, I think they are 1988 McLarens, or are they 1991s? I'm not actually entirely sure. I believe they're 1988s, or a mix. Actually, I think they're a mix of 91s and 98 McLarens. But here we go through these next couple of corners. We've already made one overtake, a nice overtake on one of those McLaren drivers, and are now trying to get this guy who's currently running in P16 so much quicker in a straight line in this Williams car, all the way down in towards Stowe, braking just off the 100-meter board, and getting the car turned in, and now trying to get the driver who is in P15 at the moment. There we go, job done on him. That's 3 overtakes already in this circuit, but going very, very deep now down in towards Club and Vale. That's allowed this guy to go for the overtake once again, but we get him back on acceleration down through the final corner, and there we go, back up into P15 once again, catching up to the back of the driver who's currently in P14, Michalski. Great exit there onto the run down into the hangar straight, and we're just going to go side by side, so much quicker in a straight line, and it's job done on him moving up into P13. That's 4 of the 12 overtakes done. I'm not too sure whether I'll be able to get the 12 overtakes. We made a few mistakes already. 12 overtakes is really a case of if you don't make any mistakes, you are going to get those 12 overtakes. But there we go, up the inside in towards Club and Vale. Job done on that driver. Now up next is Murray in P12. 5 overtakes done so far, and we'll be eager to see whereabouts we can get the job done on this. I believe it's a 91 McLaren ahead of me. It's so confused. They look exactly the same from the back, but I believe the 88 McLaren has a higher rear wing as we go round the outside, but running it very, very deep into that corner. Of course, these cars do not have the downforce of the 2017 cars. Losing the back end all over the place now, because of course we do have grass all over our tyres, which means we have a lot less grip here at this British short circuit. Just look at the full look, trying to get the car accelerating out that corner, steering the wheel the complete opposite way, not going in a straight line at all. But now we've dropped down into P14. We need to get these overtakes done as soon as possible, but with these slow cars, they just get in your way. They really do a great job of just getting in your way. Look at that guy, Coppens, who just braked it down in towards Stowe, parked it exactly on the apex where I wanted to go, had nowhere else to go, and unfortunately had to run wide into Stowe corner, which once again cost me a bit of time and has cost me an overtake. But here we go, on the back of Coppens, trying to get the job done, and there we go, 5 overtakes for now, and trying to catch up to Murray to try and get that 6th one. Hopefully we can get the job done on the run down into the hangar straight now, trying to get the 6th overtake on Murray. We have 30 seconds left in this overtake challenge up the inside of Murray, and now we're going to try and get Izumi here in this British short. I think that's the 91 McLaren we're on the right hand side of, down in towards Carbon Vale, braking very heavily, locking up massively through that corner, trying just to defend against Izumi at the same time. Clark is up next. I don't believe we're going to be able to get that 8th overtake here today. Running down in towards turn 1. We're going to see what we can do. Try our best, though, to try and get Clark in towards turn 1. Just going flat out through that corner, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, running it a little bit too deep. And we weren't going to get him anyway, so there wasn't really any point trying that overtake. But 7 overtakes at the end of the day. It's not too bad, but it's not what the guy wanted. So unfortunately, we have failed him here today, which is a little bit disappointing. Our first sort of classic car in the F1 2017 career mode is a failure, but it's not too bad at the end of the day. We had some fun in that 96 McLaren. However, that is it for part 1 of my F1 2017 career mode. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, of course, for daily Formula 1 content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends. I'll be coming back to you with another F1 2017 career mode episode later today, so don't forget to look out for that. But until then, it's goodbye from me.